All right, so this is a directed workshop. So we're going to be showing you how to create a virtual educational escape room using Google productivity tools, slides, and forms. In case anyone hasn't met us before, my name is Seyed, and this is Britany. I am an instructional designer at the Center for Academic Innovation at Western Oregon University.
And hi, everyone. I'm Britany. I'm a recent graduate at Western Oregon University, and I'm currently pursuing my master's degree at University of Oregon in language teaching studies.
Yeah, we're so delighted that you're here with us today. We'll paste the link to this slideshow in the chat as well. All right, moving on. So to start things off, let's take around 5 minutes to play a virtual educational escape room. This escape room, whose link will be provided in the chat, is called Living Room Escape, and it is geared towards English language learners' development of basic reading skills. In this EER, our learning objective is that students will be able to review past and present tenses and some everyday vocabulary items. All right, take your time trying to escape. Look for clues by clicking the active parts of the main page. For instance, the lamp, as you can see, is an active part of the page. There are other parts of the page which are also active. So once you have gathered all the clues, click the lock on the door and see if you can escape. Once you're done, share your thoughts and feelings about your experience in the chat, or feel free to unmute and shout them out. All right. If you just joined the chat, the Zoom session, we're playing an educational escape room. The link to this escape room will be provided in the chat. Okay, Colin, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. Mhm. Perfect. Instructions are important, absolutely, Carrie. And Colin, you're right. Instructions could always be helpful. Any other thoughts in the chat, folks? Thanks for sharing your thoughts, Emily. That's great, Katie. Yes, we're going to be showing you how to link multiple rooms in our presentation today. Perfect. Thank you so much. I think we're good to move on. Thanks for taking the time to play our escape room. And we were going to be dissecting this escape room later on and showing you how to put that back together. And you can play along with us as well during the workshop. All right, before we actually get to the hands-on section of the workshop, let's talk about gamification and game-based learning. All right, so now that you have played an EER and reflected a bit on the gameplay, it's time to clarify two terms that are very often used interchangeably, but they are not actually the same, gamification and game-based learning. So let's start with gamification. So imagine you're in a magical land where everyone is engaged in tasks which feel like epic quests. Gamification is the art of infusing game elements such as quests, avatars, badges, points, levels, power-ups into non-game context, such as education and the classroom, of course, to engage and motivate action. It is like sprinkling enchanting pixie dust on ordinary activities, turning them into thrilling adventures. Gamification is another tool in an educator's toolbox to engage learners in ways that motivate and create opportunities to develop students' 21st century skills. However, game-based learning, or GBL, is about using games such as scavenger hunts, escape rooms, charades, etc., in the process of teaching and learning to support learning outcomes. A game being a system in which players engage in an artificial conflict defined by rules that results in a quantifiable outcome, gives us educators a way to guide participants to advance towards a defined set of learning outcomes in a fun way. For example, the game Simon Says, which is one of my favorites, could be a low-level fun game to play in language classrooms to support the development of language skills. Games are great. Students love them, teachers love them, so everyone's happy. So now with this clarification, let's talk about educational escape rooms, or EERs. So EERs are a type of game-based learning, which could be either face-to-face or virtual, individual or group work, and are used for participants to interact with disciplinary content and or skills by solving different kinds of puzzle tasks in usually timed or simulated situations. An EER simply is another medium for teaching, and the goal is supporting students in meeting the learning objectives through a game-based design. Teachers can integrate escape rooms in their classes in many ways, such as using simple puzzle boxes or breakouts from resources such as Breakout EDU, and or even virtual ones, which is the focus of this workshop. Now turning it over to Britany to tell us about designing an EER.
All right. One moment. All right, now we're going to discuss creating an EER and how to design one. All right, so in 2017, Clarke et al. Created a manual on creating EERs, and there were 6 elements in creating an effective escape room. So the first one being the narrative. The narrative is the story that brings the escape room to life and gets the students engaged in the lesson. It can have one story or it can have multiple parts. For example, the narrative could be entering a board game or escaping a building. The game flow sets the course of the escape room. This can either take place in a sequential pattern or open parallel with free roaming clues or other patterns that you see fit to match the narrative. For the puzzles help lead the students with finding the answers to the escape room. Examples of this are clues hidden around the room, like the previous example we just saw, rearranging sentences if you're trying to teach word guessing strategies, or solving problems. The puzzles are one of the most useful tools in the EER because they teach the objective and assesses learning. This is where students engage in critical thinking and solving problem skills, which leads to both instructed and incidental learning. For the equipment is everything that is used in creating the EER, whether it's physical or digital. And then the learning are the elements in creating the EER involves the learning objectives and the purposes of creating this game. For the debriefing occurs after the game, and the students here have finally escaped the room. Students are then informed of the purpose of the lesson, the objectives, and this is a good spot to compare this lesson to previous lessons done in the course. So to go over the first example that we just saw, mapping design elements onto the living room escape that you explored earlier, the narratives told you about a story, a secret that you can uncover to open the door and enjoy a beautiful garden out there. The narrative tried to motivate you to want to interact with the disciplinary content. The game flow was parallel, meaning that you could interact with each clue independently of each other, and ultimately everything came together. As for puzzles, the escape was possible only when you could analyze and synthesize the conversations between and among the elements, that is the cat, lamp, fireplace, light, and in the room. For the equipment used in this EER were Google Slides and forms. The learning focused on language learner development of basic reading skills, and the final debriefing also happened when you shared your thoughts and experiences in the chat. For another example, this is an example of a 3-tier educational escape room that was created for second language learners who are at a beginner level of English. So to make this 3-tier, we put a link at the end of each escape room that, this link will be provided in the chat. So to make this 3-tier, a link was added in the comments at the end of the escape ticket. That would give them a link to the further escape rooms. So the narrative of this one takes place in a movie theater. In the first EER, the students try to solve a code to enter the movie theater. Once they have entered, they receive the link for the next one. In the second EER, the students are trying to solve a code to get snacks to pay for their bill for the movie. And in the third EER, the students are solving a code to start the movie. As a reward for escaping all 3 rooms, the students were given a link to a short silent film. The game flow of this game was open and sequential. Students were to search around the room with their mouse and find clues in the form of an introduction, which brought in the narrative, 3 slides that were clues, and a YouTube video that gives further explanation to the lesson. The clues give hints of the answer for the escaping the room, and the clues did not have an order, but the order did come from the 3 EERs, and it did have a sequential pattern. So the equipment that I used in this EER was Google Slides for the room and the clues. I created Google Forms for the quiz to escape the room, and a YouTube video for more clues and reward. The learning purposes of this game was to teach English. This escape room was designed for English language learners who are learning about verbs and ED and ING verb endings. The objective is that students will be able to comprehend the differences between verb endings and apply to the appropriate verb based on the situation. For the debriefing for this EER, I would say the purpose of this lesson to notice the differences in verb tenses and compare to previous lessons. So now I'm going to give it back to Seyed to start the demonstration on how to create an ER.
Thank you, Britany. If you have any questions for us during the presentation, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll get to you. All right, let me share my screen. All right. So overall, there are 5 main steps to designing a virtual EER. We're going to demonstrate these steps by looking at the backend view of the living room scape and then reconstructing it together. So this is the hands-on part of the workshop. You're welcome to play along with us on designing the same escape room or design your own following the same steps. There's also a link to a Google Drive in the chat that lets you access a handout and also the files that we will be using along the way. All right. So step 1 of creating a virtual escape room or any learning activity is to determine your objectives, narrative, and puzzles. So you already know about the living room escapes, objectives, narratives, and puzzles. So the objective is for students to review past and present tenses and some everyday vocabulary item. The narrative was about a living room with a story to share, and the puzzles, there was a quiz at the end, which was answered based on the cat's, lamp, and fireplace and lights conversation. All right, moving on, I'm going to be switching to slides and show you how to create an educational escape room. All right. So okay. Have you accessed all the files, folks? The handout and the Google Drive? Okay, perfect. All right, so as you can see, I'm now in my Google Slides homepage. And here's the escape room you already played. Let's take a look at the backend view of this escape room for a moment before we actually reconstruct it together. So as you can see, there are 9 slides in this escape room. Some slides are grayed out, which means that they will be skipped during the presentation. We're going to tell you about why we have grayed them out or we have skipped them. But yeah, that's it. So there is the main slide, which is the landing page or the home page of the EER. Then there are clue cards or clue slides. And as you can see, slides is telling you that this slide will be skipped in a slideshow mode. And there's a reason for that. We're going to get to this. And the home page has been repeated multiple times. All right. Yeah, that's the backend view of our educational escape room. Now let's design one together. Okay, what I'm going to do now is to go to my slides homepage. You can access the slides through the dots here as well, or going directly to slides.google.com. Once you're there, you could create a new slide by clicking the plus sign or finding the slides icon through the dots. So we're here. So first things first, we need to give our presentation a title. So let's call it My EER. And I'm going to exit out of the themes. I'm also going to delete the text boxes and start off my slide by adding a background picture to my slide. This is my landing page. This is my home page. Okay, to add a background, click the background button here at the top. And these steps have already been laid out in the handout that you have access to. Feel free to check them out as we proceed. Is everything good? Everyone set up? All good? You can show us by putting a reaction in the chat. All right. Okay, moving on. Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm going to upload my background to the slides. As you can see, I just clicked the background, chose image, and click browse. And I'm going to browse the home page background that I have selected for this slide. So there are multiple ways of finding images through Google as well. You could search Google Images, you could upload the same way that I just did. So, and then click done. All right, we have uploaded our background. Okay, so moving on. So this is our homepage. We need clues as well. So we already know that the lamp, the lights, the cats, and the fireplace were the active parts of the slideshow or the escape room. So for the purpose of this presentation, we're going to only be creating 2 clues because of shortage of time, but you could definitely follow the same process for creating more clues in the room. So what I'm going to do now is to create a new slide. I could right click and select new slide or just click the plus sign here. All right, my first slide would be about the cats. So I'm going to delete the text boxes. I'm going to add the background associated with this clue card. Same process. I have already created my background, and this is it. The cat's slides background. I'm selecting it, uploading it, and clicking done. All right. So then next I need a call out to talk about the thoughts which go into the heads of these beautiful cats. So I'm going to click the shapes icon here and go to call out and pick one of the call outs forms which interest me. So I'm going to go with an oval call out and just put it right here. So, okay, can move it around however I wish. And then I could right click this call out and select edit text in order to be able to type in this call out. So I've already shared the texts which go into this escape room. So I'm going to copy and paste what the cats think. So there we go. The cats think, I like the old sofa better. I don't know why we had to buy a new one. It's not comfy at all. And as you may remember, there used to be, there was a picture of a sofa in the call out too. I have that as well. So I'm going to click insert and then image and then upload from computer. And there it is. I'm going to open it. And here's the picture of the sofa. I'm just going to drag it to the call out and I'm going to resize it. Okay, so, all right. Moving on to our next clue slide. Same process. I'm going to right-click, click New Slide. I'm going to remove the text boxes, and I'm going to click the background button and choose Image, and then click Browse and find my background. Let's work on the lights background. Perfect. So we have it. And we need another call out. So let's click the shapes, go to call out, and find the call out style we want. So same process. I'm going to be clicking. I'm going to, yes, resize it however I wish. Then right-click the call-out shape and click Edit Text in order to be able to type in. And this has to do with the light spots. So I'm going to copy and paste the light spots from the text Google document that you have access to. And as you may remember, there was a picture of the sofa in the call out. So I'm going to go ahead and upload it. But as you can see, you can always search the web for items, right? If I click this, for instance, I look for sofa, graphic, and transparent background, or BG, it will give me a list of sofas that I could select from. So I may as well select one of these. So maybe this one. So let's click Insert. So there is a lot of ways to add content and graphical elements to your page. So there we go. I could just put it right here. And there we have it. We have 2 clues created. The next thing we need to do is to link the items in the home page to the clue slides. And that would be very easy to do too. We will need to create links by adding shapes to our homepage. But before that, we need to create a form. Let's turn it over to Britany to show us how to create a quiz in Google Forms, and then we will link everything together and launch our escape room. All right.
All right. It's up. All right, so now we're going to learn how to create a Google Forms for the quiz for escaping the room. So to do this, I'm going to go to my Google Forms icon. So just by clicking the squares and going to Forms, you may have to scroll. It's not right here. All right. So what I'm going to want is I'm going to want a blank quiz. So go to my templates, find the blank quiz. And here, if I would like to change the theme, I can click the little paint up here, and then this is where I can choose a header. So for this one, I'll choose this one. Insert. And then here, I can change the colors. Do that. All right, and now we're going to work on the quiz. So first, we're going to change the title. And then just to save on time, I'm going to copy and paste. But here we're going to put our title of the quiz. And then for the description, we are going to put the instructions for students to read. And now we're going to work on our question. So we're going to want this question required. And we're going to put the question here. What is the story? And for this specific EER that we're making, we want our answers to be check boxes, but you can do multiple choice. If you want, you could have your students write a paragraph or short answer, but for the purpose of this one, we're going to do checkboxes. All right, for option 1, we're going to put the cats don't like the new sofa. For option 2, we're going to put the lamp likes the new sofa. For option 3, we're going to put the fireplace is happy, the windows are open. And for option 4, we are going to put the light thinks everyone is happy. All right, so we have all of our options here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the answer key. So now here we're going to choose the correct answers for this one. These 3 are the correct answers. This is our incorrect answer. Here we can change the point of value. So I'll make it 10 points. And then now we can work on our feedback. So I'm going to go to answer feedback or add feedback. For the incorrect answers, we would like the students to go back and try again. So I'm going to say, oh no, go back to the living room and find the correct answer. You're so close. And then for the correct answers, we are going to congratulate them for escaping the room. Great job. You've opened the door. Enjoy the beautiful garden outside. And now I would like to embed a YouTube video. So here, if I would like to, I can embed a link, but I don't want to do that for this situation. I'm going to embed a video. So you can either search a video here, but I actually already have a link. So I'm going to put it here. There we go. Video pops up. Select, and now it's embedded and easier for the students to be able to just click on it rather than having to highlight, copy and paste and put it in a separate tab on their computer. It makes it easier and faster for everyone. So, all right, we have our title here and here. We have our instructions. We have our question with the correct answers. We have our feedback for the correct answers, feedback for the incorrect answers. We are done with all of that. Our question is required. So our question is completely done and our form is ready to go. Here, if you wanted to, you could view your students' responses. And then these are the settings. If you did end up making a blank form, this right here, you'd click this to make it a quiz. If you were on if you clicked on, here, I'll show you real quick. If you clicked on the blank, you would go to settings in there to make it a quiz. But back to this one. So we are all ready to go. So I'm going to make the link now by going to send. I don't want to send a video, so I'm going to do a link. I'm going to copy that. And now we're going to embed this into our escape room, but I'm going to share it with the chat so then Seyed can take it over from here, and I will go ahead and stop sharing and let the presentation continue.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Britany. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my slideshow again. Oh, sorry. Let me go ahead and share. All right, sorry about that. It took me a while. Okay, so yes, so this is our escape room. So now what we need to do is to link. So as I shared earlier, so what I'm going to do is to go to shapes and pick a shape, any shape which works for you should do it, should be fine. So I'm going to choose a rectangle. So, and then highlight the parts of the homepage which I want to link. So for instance, I'm going to start off with the doorknob, with the lock. So I'm going to highlight it, as you can see. But as you can see, this is a shape, so I need to change the background color and the border colors to be transparent. So what I'm going to do is click the background icon and select transparent. And the other thing I'm going to do is to change the border color to be transparent as well. All right. So the next thing I need to do, I'm going to right click the shape and then click link. There we go. It's asking me for the link, and Britany shared it in the chat. So I'm going to copy the link from the chat right now and paste it right here, and then click apply. There we go. Now we linked the doorknob to the Google form. So we have two more clues. There are internal clues. There are internal links. So let's add those in as well. So going to shapes, selecting a rectangle. So one of our clues had to do with the cats. So I'm going to highlight the cats, draw it around the cats, changing the color, background color to transparent, and also changing the border color to transparent. And same process, right click, click link. And this time, as you can see, I can select the slides in this presentation. And what I'm looking for is the slide number 2, which has to do with the cat's thoughts. So I'm going to select slide number 2. And the other one would be the fireplace, sorry, the lights. So I'm going to click the shapes, selecting rectangles again, and drawing it around the lights. Changing the colors to transparent, both the background and border colors. There we go. We have it. Our links have already been put in. There's one more thing to do before we open it up, and that's preventing accidental clicks, because we know that students may click everywhere in the slides, and we don't want them to change the order of presentation that we have planned. So what we're going to do, we're going to envelope the clue slides with the home slide in case they click elsewhere on the page and they land on the same home page again. And in order to do that, we need to skip the clue slides and let the students access the clues only by clicking the active parts of the page. So to do that, we right click the clue slides and select skip slide, and that hides them from student views unless they use the link, and that's what we wanted. So the other one also needs to be skipped, and what I'm going to do now is to duplicate the home page and place it after each clue card. Duplicate the slide again and place it here. So what this does for us is when a students click accidentally on the slideshow, so they would skip the clue and they land again on the home page, and that prevents the students from changing the order of the presentation. Because this is not a presentation, this is an escape room, and we want the students to be oriented and directed towards specific slides without changing the order of the presentation. All right, I think we're ready to share, and there's one more thing to say, and that has to do with let me see if I can. Okay, here it is. So I'm going to click share, and I'm going to make this anyone with the link. could view this, and then I'm going to click copy the link and then share it with my students. But there's one more thing to do. If you want your students to land on a full screen escape room, an immersive experience, not a slideshow, there's a little thing you could do as well. I'm going to paste the link in the address bar for you to see, and you will see at the end of the URL, there is this little tag. It's the edit part of a slideshow, basically. So this enables the students to access the slideshow. But what I want them to see is the preview of this escape room, so which gives them access to the full screen view of the escape room. So I just replace edit with preview and then share the link with my students. And I'm going to provide you with the link in the chat for you folks to load and give it a look. This is what we have created together. So does it work? Let's see. Let us know in the chat. Oh no, the lamp links to the cat. So it's probably my mistake. So the slides need to change possibly. So the lamp's link link to the cat. Okay, so then let's take a look at that. I can edit this. So it's linking to slide number 2, which is the cats. You're totally right. I need to change it to slide number 4. So I'm going to click this and select slide number 4, and there we have it. And how about the fireplace? Let's check the fireplace. Oh, sorry, the cats. Cats still good. So we should be fine now.
For my presentation, because I wanted to, for the movie theater educational escape room, because I wanted to add another link into the escape room, what I did was in the answer feedback here, if you don't mind me sharing my screen real quick. Sure. Okay, so on my quiz, when I had my 3-tier educational escape room, I put the preview link. So I'm just going to borrow the one in the chat for the one that we just created. Let me copy that real quick.
We have one response, Britany, as well.
So in here, I went into the answer feedback for correct answers, and I put the link into here. Add. And then when they get the correct answer, they can click on the link and go to the next educational escape room to continue the series.
Perfect. So one escape room leads to another escape room. All right, so moving on, I'll turn it over to Britany. I think you're muted, Britany.
I was, my apologies. There we go. 8. Okay. So everyone here who just learned how to make a escape room, is there anyone that would like to share the link for their escape room into the chat, or would people like to share their screen? I can stop sharing. Anyone would like to share their creations?
All right. To answer some of the questions in the chat. So I didn't create my background for the living escape room, for the living room escape. I just downloaded it from Google through a Google search. So you could use Google search feature to find any images you may be needing for your escape room. And Britany, how about your escape room?
My escape room were all from Google Images. The only issue that I had was that sometimes images were too big, and so I had to play around with image sizes. But I would just download download pictures from Google that I liked and just embed them into the slides through that background option from Google Slides.
Mhm.
But I believe.
Yeah, there's a comment about the back button. Yes, we forgot to create that, but that's the way I created my own back button was by adding a shape to the page and then editing the shape and adding the text to the shape and then changing the background color and the border color to make it stand out. And that would be, yes, a great best practice, basically, to allow students to go back to the home page. If they click anywhere in the slideshow, they will be taken back to the home page, but it's good to give them that option. And yes, thank you for the thoughts. And Wei, thank you for the comment. Yes, the survey permission needs to be changed. It's a great reminder. Thank you very much. The process could be translated well into PowerPoint as well. Yes.
All right, let me share again. All right, we've almost reached the end of our session. Now for the remainder of this session, we will stop recording. And if there are any other questions